Hey everybody, weekly word, episode 170, wow, is spiral. Specifically acknowledging where you are on your journey, specifically maybe your healing journey, and how it aligns with the concept of a spiral. Up front, I gotta say I was introduced to my newfound appreciation of the spiral concept as a black cat just ran in front of me. That was, okay, almost gonna reset this, but I didn't cross the black cat, but a black cat just ran in front of me and took me right out of midstream. Darlene Marshall, a great friend. She was on the podcast, Together We Shall podcast, episode 14. She talked to Joe and I about upward spiral, building on some lessons and concepts that she introduced to me during my Travis Manion Foundation journey in the Spartan Leadership Program. It's funny, you hear the dog barking back there. That's the dog saw the black cat. Pretty interesting. Let me tie all that in, I guess, since it's right in front of me. If I would choose to look at the black cat that just ran in front of this camera as feeding my downward spiral, meaning I'm in a spot of uncertainty, I'm feeling a little bit of maybe anxiety, stress, depression, and then I see a black cat run in front of me, and it completely takes me away from any opportunity to have upward spiral, and I feed that black cat into the downward spiral, and there we go. So the downward spiral always exists, like it's there all the time. There's no question about it. Every one of us has darkness, negativity, circumstance, environment that creates something other than bright, amazing atmosphere or impact. But it's the upward spiral that I've recently really leaned into understanding as I related back on the journey that was, frankly, my whole life. Like, I've always been a glass half fuller, silver lining guy. And then Ainsley got a diagnosis that really forced me to reach into how do I find the silver lining. And to a big, man, again, downward spiral. I could let the environment of these cars passing by, I could let that stop my thinking. Instead, I'm acknowledging it. And now I'm going to feed what was going to bring down the downward spiral, was going to feed the downward spiral. These cars interrupted me. I'm going to feed the negative energy with some of the remaining neutral energy, and I'm going to feed it back in. So I'm going to do this weekly word to feed my neutral energy to create a positive spin and some more upward spiral. Okay, that's really, this is, I'm literally just hit record like I do with all these weekly words, and I'm just going to upload it. But what a beautiful environment here to give me conditions to really reinforce what I'm saying. But whenever Ainsley passed away, I was amidst this newly formed run streak, and I went on to run 1,492 days in a row after starting it, and gosh, 1,460 of those days were after she passed away. And then diverticulitis happened, and it took my run streak away, and then the pandemic happened. So between the diverticulitis and the pandemic and not running anymore, I found myself going and feeding my negative downward spiral energies and didn't even realize it. What was happening from the time Ainsley died until my run streak stopped was I was fueling my neutral area with this run streak, and that was lifting up all the other positive things already happening in my life. And it was fueling my vitality. It was vitality. It was fueling my positive emotions, and it was created this thing where I'm living an upward spiral of positive emotion. This video is approaching 4 minutes, man, and frankly, I don't care. I'm gonna keep going. You probably got the bottom line already. But I went out to run today, and all of these things are going in my head. I just came back from 2 days down in Atlanta with a new cohort of the Spartan Leadership Program with Travis Manion, and I saw Darlene, and I had a chance to listen to her talk and had a chance to interact with a bunch of people. And it was during that time that I really started to dig a little bit more into the upward spiral concept. And there's a book out there. It's called Upward Spiral. You can read it yourself. There's so many people in the space of positive psychology that deserve credit for even this video, but I don't know their names. I'm just going to leave you with the idea that, like, the neutral energy, if we feed the neutral stuff, meaning the untainted with happy and positive and joy, and untainted with the negative and the dark and the sorrow, which, by the way, all those things exist in every one of you. But there's also this neutral area. And if we can find a way to fuel the neutral area intentionally, whether it's through meditation, exercise, freaking gratitude, then We can fuel the negative, we can keep the negative at bay, fuel the neutral, and add that neutral into the positive. And then that lifts us into this upward spiral of greatness, of happiness. And I'm not talking about like happiness and joy, like Darlene says. I'm talking about like just the effects of the positive chemicals in our body, like good drugs, like the dopamine. Like I went for a 2-mile run and all this stuff was in my head, and it was moving through my whole body, and I had to just stop running and grab the camera and film this because I'm on a runner's high after 2 miles. And that high is the dopamine and all kind of other stuff that as a non-scientist, I have no idea what the chemicals are called, but I am flipping high right now. High on my upward spiral. Episode 170, Spiral.